A 39-year-old Sikh man in Seattle was shot outside of his home during an argument this last weekend. Now, the victim told police that he was working in his driveway at about 8 p.m. on Friday when an unknown man approached him while he was just minding his own business. Now, the Seattle Times reports that an argument had then ensued, and the suspect told him to, quote, go back to his country, according to the victim. The victim then told police the man shot him in the arm and then ran away. Now, the good news is that it was not a fatal shooting. The victim has been released from the hospital, and according to Jasmine Singh, a leader of the Sikh community in the nearby suburb of Renton, quote, he's just very shaken up, both him and his family. We're all kind of at a loss in terms of what's going on right now. This is just bringing it home. The climate of hate that has been created doesn't distinguish between anyone. Now, you want to guess who did this? A white guy.
Yeah.
Right now, police are looking for a stocky white male that was wearing a mask that covered half of his face. So, I wonder if this is a hate crime, Ron.
Gee, I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna go with yes.
Maybe. No, of course it is. Of course it's a hate crime. He said, get out of my country. Who says that?
Maybe we're just being cucky.
Is that what it is? Yes.
Maybe
of
we're
course.
just being cucks.
Where's that? It's that SJW streak that we have.
It's the maybe he just meant he was just kidding. He was
Yeah.
just it was a joke.
He was really concerned about economic conditions in Seattle. That's what it was. Or it was sexism. Bernie bro.
Could have been. Yeah,
No.
he could have been a Bernie.
No, look. Yeah. You know what's funny here, given that this is not a funny situation? He's a Sikh, which does not mean Muslim, right? Muslims and Sikh are two different things, right? These idiots, the people that go around and shoot people, have no idea who they're hating on. They don't. They say, "Oh, that guy looks kind of Muslim-y. I'm gonna go and harass him and threaten him with a gun." And look, it's not okay to do this to Sikhs. It's not okay to do this to Muslims. It's not okay to do this to anybody. But the funny thing is that they get confused because the Sikhs have the turban and the beard. Well, I mean, there's got to be a Muslim guy, right? You ever realize that in these cases that hate seems to be tied with extreme ignorance and stupidity? Like, the dumber you are, the more likely it is that you will resort to hate. It's tied, man. It's tied.
Well, look, you know what? Yoda said this, and he said it because it's true that fear is what leads to hate, right? Or was it the other way around? Hate? No, it's fear leads to hate, and then hate, of course, leads to the dark side, right? The dark side of the force. Yoda said it.
He said it.
And it's true. People fear what they don't understand.
That's true.
And so, yeah, I mean, hate and fear go hand in hand. And when you incite hateful people, hateful racist people now have a figurehead that sits in the White House. They have that now. So they are more empowered than ever before. And we're hearing more and more stories about these people. But you have to keep in mind, these are inherently cowardly people. Because first of all, when you're a blatant racist, and that's the main card you got to play, you're a coward just by default because your entire ideology is based on your fear of people that are different than you. So you're a coward to begin with. Second of all, we need to keep in mind there are less of these people than there are of everybody else. There are less of them. There are less of them. There are less of them. And sometimes you need to make it clear that you're not going to take it anymore. I am a pacifist. I am an anti-violent guy at every turn. But I'll tell you what. With the climate that we live in, I have a lot of friends. They're taking self-defense classes now. I have a lot of friends that they're learning a thing or two about how to defend themselves. Maybe having a thing or two that they didn't carry around before. Not necessarily a gun in most cases, but a bottle of mace, something like that. I'm not opposed to any of that. I'm really not. I'm also not opposed to Nazis getting punched in the mouth. I wouldn't go out and do it myself, but if you're going to respond that way to somebody like that, I don't really think that that's, you get back what you put out into the world. And if you're going to put out an ideology where genocide is celebrated, if somebody punches you in the face, I don't really feel bad for you. And if Richard Spencer was burning to death in front of me, I wouldn't do anything to help him. I honestly wouldn't, unless another person was in danger because of it. But if it was just him, I wouldn't help. I wouldn't help the process along either. I would watch.
Yeah,
Or well, I would leave. Like I wouldn't
I don't
watch. I would leave.
I don't feel bad for Nazis being punched in the face, or white supremacists or whatever the hell he claims to be. But at the same time, I wouldn't advocate going out and doing it, because
No, I'm not. I'm not advocating that.
nobody
I'm
says
not
you
advocating
are.
that. I'm just saying.
I'm just stating where I'm at. You know, no, of course, like don't go out and do that. But if it happens, I mean, I'm not gonna cry. Oh, yeah,
No.
poor guy, poor guy. No, he's a douchebag. Not saying he deserves it, but he kind of deserves it.
No, I mean, you get back what you put out into the world. That's the basic law of karma. And if you're going to go around parroting genocide, wanting genocide, then yeah, I mean, you can't really, if that has consequences, you can't really be surprised or bothered by them if you face violent consequences because of that. I mean that's just we're not talking about a difference of opinion. We're not talking about like I'm progressive and this person's conservative. We're not
No,
talking
no, 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 not at
I
all.
think the pipeline's a good thing, this person thinks it's a bad thing. We're talking I think genocide's okay. I think white people are supreme to everybody else. That's that's an entire different realm. And that's slowly becoming more and more normalized and more mainstream.
Hmm.
And sometimes you're going to have to push back. And I hope that me and my loved ones are never in a situation, and I wish the best for everybody I know. But there's some people out there on the front lines, in red states especially, and stuff like that. And they're ready, and I can't blame them for that. Nor can I tell them to play kumbaya right now, because that ain't working.
Yeah, well, there's, I mean, I don't advocate for violence in any sort. And
Me either.
you and I both, man. That's not how you solve your problems. That's not how you solve ideas. That's not how you hash out your differences. No, you actually have a dialogue and you actually get to understand people. That's what you do. And I am tired of people thinking that it's okay to attack somebody because of a difference of opinion, or just because of what they look like, especially when they haven't done anything for you to you. Okay, and so I do have that issue. I mean, it's different when you are, advocating for the deaths of other people. Okay, or you're actually doing violence upon other people. Okay, that's fine. That's not a hard concept to say that yes, if somebody does violence upon you, you can defend yourself. That's incredibly fair. But doing violence on people who aren't doing anything, no, that's wrong, and you shouldn't do it whatsoever. And look, if Spencer was on fire, I'd probably throw some water at him because I'm that
You're
much.
a better man than me. I wouldn't.
Well, yeah, it's not so much that, it's that it's that part of humanity that's like, I this guy's a horrible person, but he's still a human being, and that's more credit than he gives to other people. And so it's really, I mean, it's really hard to sit there and hear that kind of stuff, because it's like they are human beings, and just because you don't see them as like they don't see people as other human beings, but that and that's a horrible thing, but human beings are human beings.
You're a stronger person than me. I wouldn't. I can honestly say, I mean, I would never want to harm the guy or anyone like that, but I would never help them under any circumstance, no matter what.
I would feel compelled
help
just
them.
based on humanity itself. And maybe they'll learn, maybe they'll learn something.
You're a better man than me. I wouldn't. I mean, there's exceptions.
But anyway, like on this guy, I'm glad this guy's like that he wasn't killed.
Yeah.
But look, this guy, I mean, afterwards, he's not going to feel safe anymore, right? Because again, he was standing in his own driveway, just, wearing a beard and a turban, just being who he is, just being himself, just looking a certain way, was enough to get him attacked and shot by someone else. It's madness, and this has got to stop. I mean, the violence all around, it's got to stop. What is it going to take to get people to stop, going after each other, stop hurting each other, stop killing each other over ridiculous differences? This isn't the first time the Sikh community has been attacked for just looking like Muslims. Not to mention actual Muslims being attacked just for being Muslim and for not doing anything to you. And it's sad that this is going on. And it's madness. And it has to stop. And I don't know how to stop it other than maybe because I'm somebody who believes that education is key.
Oh, I fully agree.
When you
with
educate people, when you expose people to different viewpoints and different people, I mean, I can guarantee that there's a lot of people who think, who fall into this racist ideology that have never met another person of a different race or grew up and never had a productive conversation with another person. Never got out there to learn the facts. And that's what we need to do. We need to disseminate facts and information and show them why they're wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that's a perfect solution, and nobody's ever going to, not everybody, I think, will be swayed by that. But God, if we can change the minds of a few white supremacists and a few bad people and make them realize, hey, you know what? These are human beings, and they have just as much right to exist and be here as anybody else. Then I think it's a win.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you that education is key, and that type of ideology, it can, to kind of quote American History X a little bit here, it's one of those things that, that's something that can be learned and something that can be unlearned too. Right. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you that education is key. I just, in the climate we're in, where these extreme fringe ideologies have been normalized, people are like kind of getting on, people are kind of having to face the last resort, which is self-defense. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here. And I know we kind of got off on a bit of a tangent. And, again, I am a total pacifist and never want to harm anyone, nor do I ever think violence is the answer. But when stuff like neo-Nazis and white supremacy is being normalized, as it is in our society right now,
you call it out.
I mean, you have to call it out.
You have to.
And, you can't really blame the people that feel the most marginalized by this, which, let's be, let's address the obvious, Jeff. We're both white dudes in America.
Of course.
We're not the people that are scared to leave their apartments.
Yes.
That's not us.
We have that privilege.
But we know people. We know people that are in that camp. I know people that are in that category right now that have been scared to go out because of what's been going on recently.
Exactly.
And I feel very helpless. I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, if those people are like, I hate the fact that I'm doing this, but I'm getting a gun. I hate the fact that I'm doing this, but I'm, we got to realize that's the world we live in now. And it's scary as hell and it's disturbing. But, sometimes, sometimes you gotta herd the flock. Sometimes you gotta fight off the wolves, and we're in an in-between time right now, and it's a scary place to be.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.